My mother-in-law doesn't believe my daughter can be allergic to anything and almost unalives her. Now she's threatening to off herself. My 3-year-old daughter has several severe food allergies, with peanuts and eggs being the worst. Additionally, she cannot have dairy or bananas. My mother-in-law is extremely obsessed with my daughter. Since she is our only child, and therefore mother-in-law's only grandchild, I try to be understanding. I haven't expressed any concerns when she buys really expensive dresses that my daughter will only wear once. I have actively encouraged a relationship between them, allowed her to have her way on holidays, and have generally been accommodating. However, I have never left them alone together. I can't explain it exactly, but it just never felt right. Mother-in-law hasn't pushed for alone time recently, although she offered to babysit, she let it go when we declined. Despite her interest, she has always doubted my daughter's allergies, insisting that her princess of a granddaughter could never have something wrong with her. However, she has never tested to see if it was true, at least not until today. Mother-in-law was visiting, playing dress-up with my daughter. I had a horrible headache, so I asked her to watch my daughter, allowing me to lie down for an hour, and she agreed. However, 20 minutes later, I was abruptly awakened by her shrieking, and she was screaming that something was wrong with my baby. I rushed to my daughter's room to find her gasping for breath, her lips turning blue. I screamed at mother-in-law to call 911 and used an EpiPen on my daughter. After administering the EpiPen, my daughter managed to take a deep breath, but I noticed that she smelled like banana. The paramedics arrived promptly, initiated an IV, and administered medication to help my daughter breathe. I informed one of the paramedics that my mother-in-law had fed my daughter something, and he discovered part of a cookie on the floor. After confronting mother-in-law, she confessed to giving my daughter a peanut butter banana cookie, claiming she didn't know it would harm her. I texted my husband and rode to the hospital with our daughter. They admitted her for observation, and my husband met us there. His mother called him, wailing about how she was just trying to show us that nothing is wrong with our daughter. According to her, we're too paranoid and have such odd ideas about our daughter's health, because, get this, we eat healthy, our daughter has received all the vaccines she can have, and we use sunblock. That woman admitted that she's been making allergen-laced cookies for more than a year. She bakes a huge batch and freezes them, putting one in her purse every time she sees our daughter, just in case she gets a chance to slip it to her. I can't even wrap my head around this. Our daughter is asking when mother-in-law is going to come see her. She wants to show grandma her pretty bracelet, the hospital band with stickers on it. I'm so devastated right now. I never suspected mother-in-law would do something like this. The hospital has already reported it to the police. A detective is going to come tomorrow to take statements and discuss the next steps. Update 1. So, the detective just left. He's got copies of everything mother-in-law texted my husband, plus 11 voicemails she left me last night. Several of them were just her screaming that she's going to off herself because she can't live without her baby. The detective doesn't know what's going to happen because he's never seen this before, but for right now, they're going to take her into custody due to the threats of unalive, and the district attorney will have to look at the case next week. Our daughter is doing great, as they've sent a counselor to work with her for a bit, and we're going to continue with that while we navigate the next couple of weeks. She keeps asking when she'll get to see mother-in-law, and the counselor suggested telling our daughter, "Grandma made you very sick on purpose, so she's in timeout and can't see you," so we've just been repeating that. My husband's family is pretty split on the matter. Everyone is kind of in shock, but he's too angry to care about anyone who doubts our reaction. There are a few people who are saying she needs help, and that it's our duty to support her through this. Lol, nope, our duty is to our daughter full stop. That woman will never see us again. Our daughter and I are going to stay with my parents in Ireland for a while. We're leaving at the end of the month and my husband is in complete agreement. He's also talking about us moving a few states away just to make sure his mother can't get to our daughter. This could have been so much worse. Our daughter will make a full recovery and she likely won't remember this when she grows up, so we'll be okay. Update 2. So, mother-in-law is being charged with endangerment of a child. Our lawyer has told us that she will probably not spend any time in jail, but we do intend to pursue a civil case against her for the hospital bill. In any case, we have a restraining order against her and have informed my daughter's preschool. She will never lay eyes on my child again if I can help it. There will be no second chance for her to harm my child. My daughter has physically recovered 100%, and we are working closely with her therapist to make sure everything goes as smoothly as possible. She doesn't seem to be suffering any emotional trauma, but my husband is having a really tough time, all things considered. He is also in therapy to help him with the trauma of suddenly losing his mother, but he is rock steady on the resolve to cut her out entirely. Update 3. So, apparently going this long without seeing my daughter has made my mother-in-law lose it. Yesterday, I got a call from my daughter's preschool, and mother-in-law tried to pick her up. She told the staff there was a family emergency. Luckily, the preschool knew about our circumstances, and they did a soft lockdown and stalled until the police got there. Mother-in-law violated her restraining order, so there may be some legal action, but I haven't been told anything yet. Our daughter is fine. She has no idea anything happened. They locked down her classroom and played a series of very noisy games until it was over. We're moving several states away in June and not telling mother-in-law. Hopefully she'll figure out we're gone after it's too late to bother us anymore. Update 4. So my crazy, allergen-giving monster of a mother-in-law somehow found out the day we were moving and showed up at our house. She parked behind the moving truck and said she wouldn't budge until we agreed to talk things out. The police were called and she was arrested for violating a restraining order, which I'm told could result in as much as 1 year in jail. But I believe she has to go to court first. Her car was towed, the movers finished up, and now we're all safely in a new state. All 4 of us, because we recently found out we'll be adding a new little one to our family in January, and mother-in-law has no idea. As for school, we're really fortunate that we can manage a nice private school with excellent security in the new state. I've had to go back to work part-time to cover the cost, but the peace of mind is worth it. My daughter and husband are going to continue therapy. Hubby is going to go to grief counseling because he feels as though his mother suddenly passed away. He is very adamant that she never sees our children, but losing his mother has been very difficult for him. If, heaven forbid, he were to waver on that, my children and I would be on the next flight to Ireland. Oh, and my daughter has started this program at a hospital nearby where she is exposed to her allergens in tiny but incremental doses. So far, it's going well. Thank you all for your support and advice during this ordeal. Update 5. So, hubby works for a large company with offices in multiple states. We told the new location not to release any info about my husband, as in don't confirm that he works there, nothing, but monster-in-law called the old location and played the forgetful old lady card, managing to get the number of the new location hubby transferred to. She then proceeded to call the new location. The receptionist didn't get the memo, apparently, and gave her hubby's extension. As soon as he picked up, he was treated to ear-piercing wailing. Not talking or crying, just full-on banshee wails. He hung up immediately, but she called again, and again, and again. She left 12 full voicemails of this before his mailbox was full, then she switched back to calling the receptionist and wailing at her. My husband was called into a meeting with HR and had to provide copies of the restraining order, and legal is sending her a letter, with the police in the old town being notified. IT had to set up an entire new extension, and I believe they've blocked her number as well, but it won't stop her. So, monster-in-law knows where we moved, but at least we already have security cameras, I guess. I feel like she's already ruined the new town.